come
Oh,
down.
he's slowing right down.
If it goes green up in the upper right, it will mean he's on it. Off of corner 14. Here we go. 3 laps to go.
Power is on the overtake. Looking to the outside, just like he did to Wilson.
Can't do it. In fact, he loses second to Dixon.
Dixon, Franchitti looks now.
Dixon just forces his way through.
Power back to third.
He was trying to carry that momentum on the outside going into one.
And he had to give his teammate room. He had to get a little bit wide to be sure he didn't take out Castroneves. He left the door open, and Scott Dixon pounced.
They're going to...
Wow.
Scott Dixon is the leader of this race. They are going to penalize Helio for blocking. Jack.
Fellas, at the drivers' meeting, what Brian Barnhart explained to all the drivers, entering a corner, you have to declare one lane or the other. The outside lane or the inside lane. That's what Helio Castroneves did. But then he changed lanes. That's why he's being given that penalty. That's the only way Brian says he's able to determine if someone is trying to overtly block. Leader be damned. Remember it happened to Helio at Detroit a couple of years ago with Justin Wilson?
Well, Jack, at a restart, he picked the right, and he stayed right. As far as I'm concerned, he stayed right.
Maybe those, we don't know what those defined lanes are when we're talking the big footprint of tarmac there being a runway. I don't know.
We're on the last lap, and Scott Dixon is the leader.
If I'm Castroneves, I stay out, and I argue after.
Yeah.
They will stop scoring you after... I think it's 2 laps, so maybe he can get to the checkered before they stop scoring him, and then he can.
Yeah, well, whatever. Right now, he's going to be coming to the checkered flag anyhow.
I mean, he still is leading because he hasn't served his penalty. I mean, they may take it away with another penalty, but he still is the leader physically on the track until they stop scoring him. They wanted to take it away with a drive-through, but he hasn't given it yet.
And he's coming to the checkered flag right now.
Here comes the checkered flag. And he's going to take
the checkered flag on the racetrack.
Helio will take it first, but did Scott Dixon win the race? Oh, man, what an afternoon of racing.
Kind of wondering where we go with all this right now, huh?
Another win, I guess, for Chip Ganassi. He won earlier today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Brickyard 400, and apparently wins with Scott Dixon here in Edmonton. Robbie Floyd.
I'm here with Tim Cindric. Tim, what was the call for you? Stay out and, fight it later?
They said to drive through. I'm not driving the car. So, why we end up with that inconsistency all day long, I have no idea. Whether that's good for the series, I guess only Randy can decide whether that's the right thing for the series or not. So, I hope they enjoy it.
Helio's driving the car, but tell me what you saw. He's in the lead. He does what he wants to do.
He's driving the car. From my end of the officials tell me he needs to drive through. I tell him he needs to drive through. He's driving the car as far as whether he does or not.
You think he did everything he should have going into that first turn?
I'd have to see the replay. You guys have seen it more times than I have. But to take a race away from somebody like this, I'm not real sure how this works.
Thanks a lot, Tim. You can tell right now he's just waiting to see what the aftermath is. He's disappointed, but he may have a positive outcome later down the road.
Well, we're taking a look at the replay, and that's a close call.
It is. You can see that there's a lane there, and then he comes back to the left a little bit. But I don't know if it changed anything, guys.
Yeah. Well, in any case, it is Dixon's 24th career open wheel win.
But take a look as they come down, and the overhead shot that we saw before is perfect. And if you can stop it right here briefly, there is a lane defined somewhere here that you're supposed to leave open. That's okay where he is now. Now go ahead and roll it. Let the cars roll sort of across the line. And you'll see that he maintains a line, and then he's moving out to the middle here because he has to turn into the corner. I don't think he's blocking. I don't think he's changing his line in response.
And that's what I'm saying.
Don't often see Helio emotional like this. and angry. That was Kevin Blanche that he was having words with.
The reason he is upset is because he did not chop his teammate. He chose a line. Once Will Power swung out, he swung out a little more so he could turn into the corner. Now, if Brian Barnhart has defined a line you don't cross, that's got to be his call.
Yeah, you're right, but I don't think it wouldn't have affected that outcome either way. It wasn't.
No.
That, and like I say, for Helio to be that upset about it, he doesn't think he did that at all. He wasn't intentionally doing anything to have that kind of mannerism right now.
Right. Charles Burns, one of the security people that worked for the ISOT IndyCar Series.
Don't take on the security guys.
No. Charles is a former state trooper here in Indiana.
He was very relaxed.
Well, I don't know.
He's got to pull his head together, but he has reason to be upset.
Yeah,
because
I think so too.
He didn't do anything that was out of bounds in my view.
Yeah, and he obviously doesn't think he did anything I mean, again, to be that way. That's Owen Snyder there, helping out with Cindric and Charles of talking with Helio.
Yeah, he's cooling down a little bit here.
Tell me about that restart.
Well, it was all on, and specifically between the two Penske's, I definitely didn't think they were going to treat each other that way. And, you know, offline here is so bad. And, you know, Brian always says if you're blocking going into any of the corners, if you're on the right side, especially going into turn 1, then you're going to get penalized. And we get told every week, so you could definitely see something was going to happen there. But they got a lot of marbles on their tires. We got a great run with the target car. Just kept it in a typical line. And, you know, it was a tough day. We're extremely loose and fighting it non-stop. But I can't believe we won. It's fantastic.
Watching you guys go from the overhead down into that corner, you could see that you took the bait, saw everything that was going. Was there any doubt in your mind that you could make the target car grip on the inside?
I didn't want to get in there. You know, offline here was so bad. You know, there's so many marbles and everything, and even under the yellows, you'd pick up so much debris on the tires. So it made the first few laps so exciting, you know, for sure. But you know, for them getting away in the dirt right there, and then obviously trying to protect his line, you knew it was going to be you know, pretty slippery. So I was hoping to get both of them coming out of there, but just didn't quite have it.
Scott Dixon has won this race in a very controversial finish. Helio has been accused of blocking, and Robbie is with him.
And boy, he's been angry, trying to cool down. I can imagine what had to be running through your head. Can you put it into words?
Man, I said it once in Detroit in 2008, and I'll say it again. I have nothing smart to say. It's the only thing I can say. Talk to my attorneys.
Hey, let's take a look at what happened, or he might not even want to take a look. Do you want to see the race itself? I know you haven't seen it except for first person. Do you want to see what it looked like, what they're making that call on?
Sorry, man. I 2 laps to go. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I never moved my line. I actually gave him outside. And when you go side by side like that with your teammate, and the guys just swept, literally just take it away from you. It's just absurd. I mean, but anyway.
What did you mean by talk to your attorneys? I thought we were through with that at Long Beach last year.
I'm being sarcastic.
All right, buddy. You can tell Helio Castroneves, he can't even put it into words. He's still disgusted, hasn't talked to the officials, and he was in the air with a couple of officials, but you know they aren't the ones that made the decision. Brian Barnhart is.
Clearly upset about what happened there at the end, but I want to ask you, what's your take on that last restart?
I understand Helio's position. You know, he's leading the race. There's a late restart. You know, I got to run on him, and he blocked me. I think I would say a black flag's a pretty harsh penalty, to be honest. But you know, maybe if he was put back in position, but you know, it's what it is right now.
Yeah, you're seeing the replay right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he blocked. So I mean, it was just one of those racing things, you know. I mean, if you're leading on the last restart, you want to keep the lead.
Fellas, we chased down Brian Barnhart, and he is in the trailer right here, right here. We made a request to interview him, telling him we're up against the time clock, and here's what his representative told us. He is reviewing the results and is not available right now for an interview. Stay tuned to versus.com. We're going to stay here till we get one, and we'll post it on the web, okay?
So Helio might be the winner. How about that?
Wow.
Wow. Yeah,
Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, that would be.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Unprecedented. Yeah.
Right? To versus.com.
About 3 hours before each race, there is a driver's meeting led by Brian Barnhart. And we begin with a recap of the Edmonton driver's meeting. Take a listen.
And we shouldn't have any defending or blocking. Again, we'll be visually dividing the braking point to the entry in the corner in the half. You can only be on the inside half if you're overtaking someone and attempting to pass. If you're down there when you're being passed, that's blocking, and don't impede the progress of the car behind you or move your car in reaction to following actions of a car behind you.
On a restart with 3 laps to go and Helio in the lead. As they take the green flag, you can see that Helio remained on the inside half of the track, forcing Will Power to the outside. And in the battle between the Penske teammates, Scott Dixon gets around Will Power for second place. So when race control black flags Castroneves at that point, it's Scott Dixon who is given the lead. Instead of the required pass-through penalty down pit road, Helio decided to stay out and take the checkered flag first. But it was Dixon who was awarded the victory. And as many of you saw, Helio showed uncharacteristic emotion, first confronting IndyCar technical director Kevin Blanche. Then taking it up with the flag stand before grabbing League Director of Security Charles Burns. Later, we caught up with both Brian Barnhart and Helio Castroneves.
2 laps to go. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I never moved my line. I actually gave room him outside. And when you go side by side like that with your teammate, and the guy just swept, it's literally just take it away from you. It's just absurd.
We divide the track physically in half, and on the road courses from the braking point to entry, they're told you can only be on the inside half if you're attempting to overtake someone. If you're on the inside half while someone's trying to overtake you, it's blocking.
Well, since Castroneves did not perform his drive-through penalty, race control gave him a 20-second penalty. That placed the number 3 car in 10th place. This past Monday, IndyCar Series officials also fined Helio $60,000 and put him on probation for the remainder of the season. Moments ago, Jack Arute caught up with Helio.
And Lindy, Helio Castroneves comes to Mid-Ohio with a $60,000 fine. Let's talk about that first year position about that.
Well, I have to thank all the fans, you know, especially for the support they gave me here. When the first thing I got here, this little girl, probably about 8 or 10 years old, and she wrote me this. I'm like, you know, let's move on. And that's why, for me, it's I'm just going to move on and try to do the best race I can over here.
Let's talk about what it's going to take to have a good race for you. I mean, your teammate, William Power, as you like to call him, is really making mincemeat of the rest of the competition on road courses.
He is definitely an incredible talent. He's certainly showing a lot of special in diversity situations. Again, I mean, he's proving he's a good talent. And not only that, he's leading the championship. For us, that's starting on the top 6. We're going to try to do everything we can. We can catch him. We can pass there because it's a tough track. But in the end of the day, we just got to be there in the end.
Any urgency on your part, knowing that we're to the last part of the season, and you've got to catch William, as you like to call him?
Well, certainly my strategy right now is to win. I don't have more about finish 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. I mean, you got to collect as much points as you can, and that's where we're going to go.
Lindy?
Thank you, Jack. And now I want to bring in 2 of the gentlemen who will be calling today's race, and they are also former open-wheel drivers themselves, Jan Beekhuis and Robbie Buhl. So, guys, what do you make of the events over the last 2 weeks?
Well, Lindy, you got to make the trip north of the border to Canada. Robbie and I were in a studio in Indianapolis, so we didn't get to see that tape of the drivers' meeting until after the race. But clearly, Robbie, when we saw that tape, Brian Barnhart was crystal clear that by the letter of the law, Castroneves had broke it. Agreed?
Yeah. Sorry, Helio, those are the rules.
But if you watched our qualifying show yesterday, we talked about not only the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law. I still like the way that we called it. Down into turn number 1, it was a wide open racetrack. It wasn't really unsafe in my mind. It was just good, hard, clean racing, and we loved it. But Brian Barnhart was so specific, he really had to levy that penalty. So both Robbie and I have gone to Brian Barnhart and said, hey, what about making an exception to the rule when it comes to restarts? Here's what he had to say.
When your rule is based on safety, whether it's a restart or a full speed lap, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. So, you know, again, I think that's one that as an official, we're going to be open to these guys' input on it. We're always going to be telling them what we think the potential ramifications are and where it can go. Ultimately, though, if the majority of the people feel that's a direction we need to go, whether it's a restart or changing the rule altogether, we need to be responsive to that. And you know, it's also a balancing of all those factors as well as what's in the best interest of our sport. Making our sport simple enough for the fans to follow is important for us as well.
Well, we heard Brian say safety's number 1. We all agree. But the competition side of it, it's very difficult to pass on road courses. And what this rule does, it creates opportunity for these drivers to pass, making it more exciting for us as fans. But it's also very good to hear Brian talk about, hey, I'm open to things. And Jan, you and I are in agreement. We're saying, hey, Brian, maybe revisit that rule and it shouldn't be in place on restarts. That could have made a little different show for Helio at Edmonton.